One, I just want to go over some basic guidelines for camp and for everything that's going on. And then camp has actually sent us some more information. It's nothing you need to fill out if you've already turned in your forms, but it's just some stuff I need to give you. So I want to do that, and then I'm going to give you guys a chance to ask questions. I am going to film all of this and then upload it as soon as we're done, so if someone else needs to see it or whatever, because I've got some parents going to be here, you'll have access to that as well. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of bust through really quick on some stuff. If you already have turned these in or have them, feel free to just pass them on. I have a few of the registration forms and health forms. If your child has not brought you one of these home, I have most of them, but if you haven't got one yet, this is the crucial piece of information that I have to have back. This is what camp is hassling me about. I've received a call today, so begging for these. So is there anybody else who needs one? Okay. I'll tell you what, just pass those back. We'll take one if you need it. If it's possible, if you're packed for time and you can't do it, that's fine. But if you could fill those out tonight, if you have the ability to do that, get them back to me sometime. That would be great. Hopefully, a lot of you guys have seen this one as well. This is one we sent home. It's our packing list. It's our schedule. It's our contact information. If you have not, there's nothing to fill out in this. This is for you to keep. You guys can just pass those back. So if you need one, take one of those. I am going to walk through that here in a minute. So if you want to have a copy to look at, you can. Or if you've already read it 12 times and memorized it, that's fine. That's no problem. And we will go over that in a minute after I get everything out. I have this that has just come from camp. This is nothing to panic over, but what's going on is in Wisconsin, where the camp is, the state has had some students develop pertussis, whooping cough. And so because of that being in state, they're requiring, because there's a ton of camps in Wisconsin, they're requiring every summer camp to send out information saying there is pertussis in Wisconsin. Now, Silver Birch all summer has not had one case on camp. It's a state requirement. So I have to give you these. So if you would just take one, if you read it, that's fine. If you don't, that's fine. You know, if your child hasn't had immunization, shots, all this stuff, it might be good for us to know that. But again, nothing to fill out. That's a letter from the state. Okay, they ask us to give this out, and I will. And then I'll kind of explain what this is they do a deal where they set up email for each kid if you want to, and you can email your kid and they print it off and give it at lunch. The only thing is there's a charge for this. And so if you don't want to do this, it's not real common. So it's not like if your child's the only one at lunch not getting emails, they're not the only one. There's 200 kids in there, and there might be 4 a day that get 20 emails. So don't stress it. But if you do want to do it, you know, it's not real expensive, but there is a charge for that. But they ask us to give that out. It's not something we push real big. But that's just information. So with all of that, were there any extras of the packing list and stuff? Okay. Does anybody want one just to look at for tonight who already has one? Okay. What I want to do is I want to walk through this with you guys just to make sure we're clear on all of this, and then I got a couple other things to highlight. If you look at this on the front page, this is pretty much a daily schedule of what your kids are going to be doing at camp. We stated that schedule pretty much every day. There's a couple minor variations. They might change a game in chapel time, but this will happen every day. This happens rain or shine. The only way that this schedule gets interrupted is if there's a serious storm, if there's thunder and lightning, then we don't have the kids out. They're in. The camp has always taken safety very highly. They do a great job. They've actually, I mean, like any place else, they've had to weather the big storms every so often, and they've done a great job. But this schedule is the schedule your kids will be on. So honestly, if you look at this on any given day next week, you'll know where your kids are at and what they're doing. One thing I want to encourage you, anytime that when you look on here where it talks about time alone with God, tag time, that's their quiet time in the morning. It's where as a cabins, they'll be getting together, reading the Bible, praying. Then the morning jam in the chapel, that's a morning deal. And the cool talks are like little classes they get to choose to go to. They'll be learning about, you know, how do you talk to a friend about Jesus, or, you know, if you have pressures at school to deal with different things, you know, biblically, how do you answer those, or how do you pray more, or, you know, kids have questions about how does the world end in the Bible, and they always want to know that sort of stuff. So it's just kind of Bible discussion classes. So those are in the morning, and then in the evening, chapel, that's where our high school worship team's doing worship, and then one of my good friends who's a youth pastor is speaking. John Dewey's the speaker for the week. Anytime those things are going on, if you can take 5-10 minutes to be praying for your kids, those are the times where they're going to be really interacting with God a lot. The free time in the afternoons, that's when their camp counselors, who are all of our leaders, if you've been around the youth ministry, you've met the kids' leaders, they're all going with us. That's when we're interacting with the kids. And even though we might be on a climbing wall, or we're swimming, or horseback riding, we're always looking for ways to get your students to talk about faith and stuff. Anywhere through the day, you can be praying over this calendar, over this schedule. It will make a difference. Come on in, guys. So that would be the schedule. On the second page, the what to bring. I'm not going to read over it. There's a couple things I need to highlight and or explain. Some of this is our standards, and some of it is camp standards, and some of it's both, okay? But to bust down through there, where we're staying, all of your kids are going to be in cabins. They're nice cabins. They're well built. They're very safe. They're not fancy at all, but they're very nice. Everybody will be in a bunk bed. Every bunk bed has a mattress on it. They're the plastic camp mattresses, so they're very easy to keep clean and disinfected and all that sort of stuff. So you either need to send a sleeping bag, or you need to send sheets and blankets or something, because if you don't send either, they'll have a mattress, but that's it. And what I usually do is I'll take my sleeping bag, and then I take a sheet, and I'll sleep on my sleeping bag with the sheet over me. It's Wisconsin, and so I was watching the weather at camp last week. It was 92, it was 86, it was 74, it was 92. The night it was 74, it got down to 42 that night. So the weather is just like this, because it's, if you have not looked on a map yet, we go through Milwaukee, and then we go through Green Bay, and then we go north. Okay? We are north Woods, Wisconsin. So the weather just fluctuates. Last summer, it hit 100 one day, and I've been up there where it's been 50 during the day. So, you know, at night it can get cold. So I would suggest a sleeping bag, but if not, send them more blanket, you know, more of the stuff they need, and let them kind of kick it off. Modest clothing. Okay, this is always an issue, especially right now, especially for our girls. Not that our girls are modest, but it's just hard to find modest clothing for girls. With this sort of stuff, the things we're talking about, we ask that if you send them tank tops, the camp's rule is no spaghetti straps. And so we ask for it to be wide. Kind of my family's rule is like the 2-finger rule. I have a daughter going into 8th grade. We have been shopping for camp. I know what's available and what's not. You can find them. It's just tricky. But try to have a wider strap, nothing cut low. On the shorts, especially right now, short shorts are just the fashion. We're asking that it needs to be down around fingertip length. It doesn't have to be like camps I went to where I was like knee length, you know. But they put their hands down, it ought to be close to their fingertips. If it's shorter than that, even if when you're a daughter, your daughter may be built in a certain way that's modest, you got to understand the big issue isn't that for your girls, it's for the boys who are in camp with your girls. Because we're going to be talking to the boys about, guys, you need to be pure. The Bible calls you to be pure. The Bible calls you to control your thoughts. And if we're saying that, and then this beautiful young 13-year-old girl walks by with shorts to here and a halter to head, it's like we're fighting ourselves. And so if you have a daughter, which I do, work with this. Try to get them longer shorts, like, you know, the gym shorts as opposed to the hottie shorts are much better. We will, if you send short shorts, we have no problem asking your daughter to change. If she sneaks her short shorts into the suitcase, which they do, we will tell her to change. It's a camp rule. It's also our standards, because it's only fair to the guys. We don't have, there's no girl in our ministry who's unattractive. Every girl in our ministry is beautiful. And so it's only fair to the boys that we try to help them out. So, modest. For the guys, we don't usually have a lot of issues with the guys. You know, they're middle school boys, and they're still basically 6, and so they still want to cover up, you know. The other issues, though, for the girls, the bathing suits. The camp requires one-piece suits, but so do we. And if you don't have one, Walmart has them right now for $10 to $15. We just bought one. But tankinis, the camp asked not even to do the tankini deal, because what happens is they started allowing them, and then the girls would start buying shorter and shorter tankini. What's a tankini? Bikini, it's up here. So one-piece suits for the girls. You can get them. I would encourage you to send old clothing, boys and girls, send old clothes. There are a lot of messy games. When you unpack your kids' clothes at the end of camp, you'll be like, what is on here? Well, it's probably shaving cream or whipped cream or something else, flour that had water poured on, because they play a lot of messy games. And so old clothes are good. Don't send anything that if your kids lost it or ruined it, you would be upset at it. Just don't send it. So they have jewelry. They don't need it. If they have their favorite pair of shoes and you paid a lot of money for it, Goodwill has shoes your kid's size. Go get some. Send old stuff. It's not a fashion show where we're going. The camp is really busy. Kids are running all the time. There's no, this doesn't happen. Rain gear, take it. It usually rains one day. Like I said, if it's not lightning and thundering, we're going. So they need to have that sort of stuff. They need all their own toiletry stuff. If your kid doesn't have a Bible, tell me tonight or have them tell me. We have plenty. We'll give them one. If they want to keep it, they can borrow it, whatever. We have Bibles they can understand. We'll give them every Bible they want. We'll feed them as many Bibles as they want. So if they don't have one, let us know. Flashlights are good. Bug spray is good. They're getting more rain than we are, so they do have bugs, even though we don't right now, so make sure you send it. Trying to think. If they take a camera, I recommend old school disposable cameras. You can even buy a digital disposable camera now. Get the waterproof ones, and don't put a lot of money in it. Because I will tell your kids tonight, don't come to me and tell me someone stole your camera. No one steals camera at camps. But about 60% of kids lose their cameras at camp. And so if you want to send them one, that's fine. But here's the deal. They have a professional photographer on staff. They average about 200 pictures a day of camp. And you can go on every day and see them. If you go to their website, they post them every day in real time. If your kid really doesn't need a camera anymore, they're everywhere taking pictures. So that's optional. Okay, so what we're doing, the things not to bring. All that stuff we ask you guys not to send, please don't send. Please don't send your kid's cell phone. I know that you're tempted going, but I need to talk to them. You can talk to them anytime you want. You have my number on here. My phone is on 24 hours a day, 7 days while we're there. You call me and say, I need to talk to my kid. Even if it's just, I miss my little girl. No problem. I will get up at 3 in the morning, go over and wake them up. Here, your dad wants to talk to you, and put them on the phone. I have no problem with it. If you send your phone, what's going to happen is they're going to be texting and calling everybody back here, which means they're not talking to the kids at camp. We go away to camp to build community. The phone kills community so fast. So please, please don't send it. Refrain from sending it. If you think they're going to sneak it in, don't let them. Keep it here, okay? We do let them take iPods, MP3 players, stuff like that to listen to on the way up and back if they want, but it has to stay on the bus. We're taking a charter bus. It's going to be locked up on the bus. The air conditioning will not be running on the bus all week. So if you're worried about it cooking on the bus, then don't send it, but they can take that. It's good to mark your kids' clothing. You'd be surprised how many kids have the same pair of shoes or the same shirts or whatever. And then if their name's written in big, embarrassing letters somewhere inside of it, it makes it a lot easier for me to break up the fight about who's wearing whose clothing. So we're asking only send one suitcase and one backpack and then the sleeping bag pillow. And you can put like the sleeping bag pillow and a trash bag with sheets and stuff. They can have a backpack for what they want on the bus. Whatever's in their suitcase, when we load it, they will not see it for 11 hours till we get to camp. It's in the bus and they can't get in it. Do not put their cash in the suitcase. It won't help them. But they can put whatever they want in their backpack. The rest goes in the suitcase under the bus. We just don't have enough room to take 2 and 3 suitcases. Any boys are welcome to bring 2 suitcases as long as one of them is filled with snack food and then I get it all. That's fine. So, meals. We eat one meal on the way up, lunch. That means they need to have breakfast before they show up Saturday morning. So feed them before they get here or send, fruit bars or something with them to eat. We'll have lunch on the way up and we'll be there for dinner that night. And that's in their camp price. On the way home, we'll have 2. We have stuff for lunch and dinner on the way home. You can do a couple things. If your kid's completely responsible with money, never loses money, never wastes money, never spends it on stupid stuff, give them their lunch money. If you want, you can give them their money on the way up, bring an extra envelope with their name on it and put both meals for the way home, and give it to me when you get here. I'll put them in a folder, and then get on the bus coming home, I'll start giving out their lunch. That way they won't spend it through the week. A lot of parents do that, and I'm fine with that. At camp, what they do is we will get out envelopes tonight to the students. We have them all marked. They have a canteen that sells like snack foods and Coke and candy and ice cream. They have a coffee bar. I know the camp makes good money off of it, but they just caffeinate the kids to death. I mean, it's Starbucks is what it is. And the kids will stand in line an hour to get this stuff. I mean, it's double mocha fudge chocolate frappuccinos, you know. And I'm going, we're going to bed an hour. I know. So then they have a gift shop, and they sell like really nice T-shirts and sweatshirts and all that stuff. If you want your kids to have money for that stuff, that's a different envelope. That's a canteen envelope. And what happens is whatever you put in there, the camp takes that and they keep track of it in an account for your kids. So your kid comes up to wherever they want to buy something, and they go, I want to buy, you know, the double latte frappuccino, whatever. And it's $2, and they go, okay. They just mark it out of their account, and the kid never holds any money. And so they just can spend off of that throughout the week. And at the end of the week, whatever's left comes back to me with the kids' names on it, and I give it out on the bus, and they have money from the way home. So that's the way to do it. I think that's all of that. Any questions about any of that stuff that you guys want to ask about?
Can you remind me, or maybe I misunderstood on the meals while you're there, the actual meals?
Yes.
That's not paid?
No, the meals are included in your camp cost. They're all you can eat. It's actually good food. I don't know if some have been to camps that have good food and bad food. Silverbird's food is pretty good. They have a salad bar every day that has a bunch of options on it. They always have peanut butter and jelly sandwiches out. They try to take in allergies into account. You know, if your kid has allergies, they'll fix a separate little meal and have that for them ready. It's always high protein, you know, low fat. I mean, they do a good job of doing it. So there's always something for your kids to eat. We do watch to see if kids are eating or not. If we have somebody who's a little homesick and they're not eating, we sit with them and we honestly just make them eat. If we have a girl who's worried that if she's eating in front of everybody and she's eating too much, we make her eat. It's just too busy for them not to. You know, we may call you and go, hey, because this one, Bailey's not eating. And so can you talk to Bailey for me and tell him to eat? But that's pretty rare. Usually the kids can get up and eat. But they have all this included. Breakfast, lunch, dinner, it's all there.
And is it any short records?
Yes, that's part of should be part of here. So
you can get more of the information out.
yes, I can list it. I'll check and see. Do you know if he hasn't turned in the medical forms? I can check on the list. I'll look and see. Any other questions about that stuff that I can answer? Especially for the girls and dress code, does that make sense why we do what we do? I mean, we're not trying to be hard-nosed or old school or anything. It's just, we got to be fair to the boys. Okay. Anything else you guys want to ask on all that? Okay. Then the last thing is our schedule, and really there's only a couple pieces that I need you guys to be sure of. 7 o'clock, we need you here on Saturday, 7 o'clock to be here. We're going to pull out at 7:30. I know that you're going, okay, you're leaving at 7:30, so 7 suggested, I can roll in at 7:20. But the problem is we're packing suitcases, and we have to pack the big suitcases first. Everything has to fit a certain way. And so if someone rolls in late, then we usually have to unpack or we have to wait. If you can be here at 7, that helps us out a lot. What will happen that morning is you can hang out. If you need to leave, you can go. If you want to hang out, you can. We'll get everything packed, and then we'll gather together and pray. Parents are always encouraged to come in and pray with us before we leave. So if you want to stay till we leave, that's highly encouraged. You're not going to make your kids cry. It's okay, you know. I would encourage you to do that so you can be part of praying with us. We're going to try to get out at 7:30. When we come back, we are pretty good about being on time for trips. And so 10 p.m. is when we're shooting to arrive. We were actually quite early last year. We're hardly ever late. The only reason we'll be late is if we get absolutely stuck in traffic or there's mechanical trouble with the bus. Both happened last year, and we were an hour early. And so my schedule is very liberal because I don't want to ask you to show up knowing you're going to have to wait. So I do ask, be here at the church at 10. I understand the whole idea of telling your kids, call me when you get back. I get that, but you got to understand, we've been traveling for 12 hours with your kids, and at At that point, I'm gonna unload the bus and go home, and it tests my ability to be gracious when, I'm gonna call my mom. We've been back to the church for an hour. I know, but I was having fun with my friends. So no one's coming to get you. Nope. How far is your parents live away? 40 minutes? Okay. Yeah. So if you can be here at 10, it helps a lot. Now, if you want, I have a system that if you get text on your phone, which pretty much, a lot of people do, I have a system where we send out text every day at camp. I text multiple times a day, just kind of update on what's going on, and it mass text everybody, all the parents. I will be using that on the way home, saying, okay, we're in Chicago, we're 4 hours out, we're 2 hours out, we're an hour. I kind of update like that as we go, so you know where we're at. So if you want that, make sure you write down your name and your number and give it to me, and I'll put it in before we go, and we'll have that going. Any questions on the schedule? My number is right there. The camp's number is on there. You can call the camp office. I don't have it on here now. It's silverbirchranch.com.
.org.
Is it org?
Well, this one has .org.
Okay, maybe it is word. It might be word.
Google it, it comes up.
Yeah, if you look for Silver Birch Ranch, it'll come up. So, and then you can see it'll say camp and pictures and junior high. We're junior